Hello, this is Megha Pandre, and here we will continue with the second part of this chapter called Lesson number 4 Supreme Court. Now, here we will continue why is judiciary independent. So, we will find it out why government have kept judiciary as an independent. Now, imagine yourself with one of the example we will start that why it should be kept independent. Imagine yourself in a situation where a powerful person captures the land belonging to your family and you go to court to get your property back. But the system is such that a powerful, influential person can remove or transfer the judge from his or her post. So, what will happen in this situation? In this situation, the judge would favor the powerful person only because he is the one who is trying to secure his place. So, if judiciary is deprived of freedom, if powerful, influential person can control the judiciary, there would be no impartial judgment. That is the reason why our constitution does not allow such kind of interference. That is why judiciary has been kept independent from legislature and executive, which are the part of the government organization, but then also it is being kept independently. Thus, once the judges are appointed in the High Court and Supreme Court, it becomes very difficult to expel them from their respective position. You cannot remove them easily from their post, the judges of High Court and the Supreme Court. If any individual feels that his or her fundamental rights is violated, he or she can go to court. If they think that some of the fundamental rights they are not able to enjoy, they can directly approach the court. Are the courts at various levels connected with one another? So this is one of the another part of this chapter where it shows that are they connected with each other? Yes, they are. To understand this, let us understand the procedure of filing a petition. If an individual finds a judgment given by the lower court not satisfactory, then he or she can file a petition in the upper court. For example, if a verdict is being given in the taluka court and if a person is not happy whatever the judgment is given in the taluka court, he can approach in the district court. He can file a petition in the district court. To understand this concept, let's discuss a case. So we will here do a case study. There, there were few houses in the southern direction where Ratlam municipality had constructed road. Behind these houses was an old road leading to the government college. Near the junction of the old and the new municipality road ran a culvert of dirty water. So this is what it was flowing through. Industries released dirty water infested with chemicals in this culvert. It had become the source of foul smell and mosquitoes, and it was one of the hub of dirty smell and the mosquitoes. The health department had failed in controlling the mosquitoes. The residents had repeatedly written application to remove this dirt around it, but the health department failed to take care of it too. Although many of the residents have complained about this culvert, but then also it was not nothing was done in order to remove this or to stop this. As a result, the residents appeal in Taluka court. Now we will go through the judgment which was given by the number of courts. So first we will begin what type of verdict or judgment was given by the Taluka court. Municipality and Town Improvement Trust have failed in their duty of maintaining cleanliness. Both the institutions are ordered to clean the place within immediate effect. Within 15 days, the work of a closed drainage should be completed. And here the time period which was given was about 15 days to the municipality and the town development improvement trust. So, but the municipality challenged this verdict in the district court, Ratlam district court. It was being challenged. Now we will talk about what type of judgment was being passed in the district court. The judgment of the taluka court is declared to be unfair. So here it was declared whatever the judgment was passed against municipality was unjust or unfair. Now here the residents challenged the verdict in the High Court. The High Court sustained the verdict of the Taluka Court but added to the verdict. Here the High Court sustained the verdict but he also added. Here the number of things were being added. For a closed drainage system, 7-month time period is given instead of 15 days. The pit should be filled with soil to stop the water accumulation and mosquito breeding. So here the pit should be refilled by soil so that there won't be any water accumulation or mosquito breeding ground. All work should be completed within 2 years and the time period was increased to about within 2 years. Now again the Ratlam municipality was unhappy with the verdict and so it moved to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court sustained the judgment of the Taluka Court and further ordered that here whatever the judgment was being passed in the Taluka Court, it sustained and but along with it added few number of things. The chemical and the dye plants which were responsible for the pollution should be closed with the joint effort of the municipality and the state government. So here the factories who were increasing the population were also closed. Now we will move on with the another part called can any citizen appeal in a court? So here if anybody want to appeal, can anyone can do that? We have learned that any citizen can appeal in a court for a protection of his and her fundamental rights. But in reality, poor people find it very difficult to go to the court. Why? Because it is very time consuming and require a lot of paperwork. The legal procedure not only require a lot of money and paperwork, but also it is very time consuming. For a poor person who is illiterate and incurring irregular income, it becomes really tough to go to court and demand justice. Obviously, for a very poor person, poor people, it becomes very difficult. Those who are earning on a daily wage, those who are daily wage earner, for them it becomes very difficult to go to appeal into the court and to get into this, which is very time consuming and require a lot of paperwork. Keeping this fact in mind, the Supreme Court announced the provision of the PIL. PIL means Public Interest Litigation in the year 1980. With this, the Supreme Court has made an effort that maximum people can reach up to court for justice. Any individual or institution can file a case on behalf of the people from the deprived classes. If any of the fundamental rights are being violated, then a citizen can appeal straight in the High Court or the Supreme Court. If a person thinks that if a person or individual or institution finds that his fundamental rights are being violated, he can straight away appeal into the High Court or the Supreme Court. After 1980, PIL was used to bring justice to many deprived sections of the society. For example, PIL were filed to free laborers for inhuman labor or to release the prisoners from the jail in Bihar after their terms of punishment was over. So basically for earlier it was being used for the to free the laborers who were being treated in a very inhuman way, like animals and all. They when these people were being treated and for to release the prisoners, those who have finished their time period of punishment to stay in the prison. If the Supreme Court find any PIL regarding fundamental rights and or its implementation inappropriate, then the court may punish the person or group of people or the institution. And if any person, if the Supreme Court finds that the PIL regarding the fundamental rights or its implementation inappropriate, or where the court finds that something which is waste of time of the court, then he can also give the verdict or punish that person or group of people or the institution who are trying to waste the time of the court. So here I end up with this part chapter and with this part of this video. We will meet in the next chapter. Till then, goodbye.